somebody choose to stop being lazy? I think it's all going to come down to one thing. A book I read a long time ago, I'm going to reference as much as I can. I like to reference this book. It's called Power versus Force. When you're looking at the screen, there are different levels it goes through that gets somebody to be willing to change. So it talks about levels of consciousness. There's a level above 200 where you're becoming a leader. Anything below, you're not. The lowest level starts with shame. You're ashamed, okay? We all at some point have been shamed. The next one is guilt. Nobody does anything good that feels guilty, okay, for something you did in the past. Then there's apathy, right? Then there's grief, there's fear, there's desire, there's anger, there's pride. If you have any of those, which we all have, you're not going to change. Your pride, your ego, I'm wrong, anger, desire, grief, you don't know, feel sorry for me. You ain't changing. You are not changing. The first level of change that it talks about in the book is courage. One has to have courage to stop being lazy. Right after courage is neutrality, which means being willing to receive different arguments of people to say, here's what I think you ought to consider doing. So you got courage, neutrality, then it's willingness. I am willing to improve. Then it's acceptance. I am willing to accept that I've been lazy the last 2 years and I want to do something about it. Then after acceptance is reason. Let's reason on what I need to do to improve, right? So the part of me that says, yeah, this person can change. No, that person can't change is the following reason. You know how so many people DM and say, I'd love to work with Elon Musk. I'd love to work with Michael Jordan. Man, I'd love to be Brady's teammate. I'd love to work with you, Pat. I'd love to be at the office with you, seeing exactly what you're doing. Really? Yeah. Okay, what do you think it's like to work with Jobs? You think Jobs is always sitting there saying, imagine if one day Apple builds a phone and you're like, hey, what a visionary. Did you feel that? I felt it. Or do you think it's like, hey, I want you guys to take something, a computer, this big ass computer, and I want you to fit it in this. You got 6 months. What a moron. Who are you to say something like that? If you're so smart, why don't you do it? You need to do it. You don't do it, you're fired. That's how Steve would be. I don't see him being like that. I see him saying stuff like, but I believe you guys got this. Because I just feel it. Let's do yoga together and take some LSD and let's make some smartphones together. No. You may have worked with somebody that's a hard-charging person, but you hated it. Because they drove you nuts. They expected so much from you. They challenged you. You couldn't stand it. Meaning, maybe you weren't ready for it. So this whole idea about, if I'm around the right people, I would change too. Only if you have the courage to be neutral, to accept, to willing to improve, to reason, yes. If not, your ego gets in the way, your pride gets in the way, you feel sorry for yourself, apathy, grief, shame, guilt, any of that stuff, forget about it. It's not going to happen.